Another World 1. All images are from Pinterest. Chapter 1 Door. One beautiful day Xia and her family are on their way to their grandparents. When they got to their grandparents, Xia got out of the car and saw big house. House was big and really nice. Xia took her red suitcase and went inside with her parents and sister. After they got in, Xia and Lola's grandmother told them to go upstairs and look at your rooms. Xia and Lola found the rooms. There was a door between the rooms. Xia's room was big. There was large window with a white desk underneath. There was gray-white carpet in the middle of floor. That was soft. Window had red curtains on them, had white spots. There was an old wreck in the room with some really old books. Xia and Lola come to eat lunch. Mom screamed from downstairs. After Xia had eaten, she went outside, to the nearby woods to investigate. Xia walked along the paths in the woods and occasionally jumped off stumps and rocks. After walking for a while, Xin saw a door in front of her. Chapter 2, Adventurous. Xin walked up to the door, looked at both sides of it and wondered how it would stay upright. Xia opened the door and saw another world and said, "Wow, how beautiful." Xia heard wind. She turned around and made sure no one was watching and decided step in the door. Xia looked around at the same time as she walked forward. She walked for a while until a path came before her, around which the trees were in their peculiar form, so that it looked a bit like tunnel. Xia saw light at the end of the tunnel and heard some noise, so she walked towards it. Xia saw summer meadow surrounded by trees, rocks, a river and some animals. She walked into the meadow closer to the animals until she realized that the animals were not any normal creatures. She noticed there were a couple of a deer with wings in front of his face. She walked towards them until she was 2 meters away from them. The deer were not interested in Xia's presence at all, but suddenly the deer turned to Xia and suddenly ran away from something. What's wrong with that thing? Xia thought. Suddenly she noticed a shadow coming up behind her. Xia turned around and saw a creature bigger than her, resembling a lizard. The lizard was blue and a little visible through. The lizard had large, long and sharp claws. Xia slowly begins to take steps backwards, while the lizard stared at her. She tripped over rock and spawned to sit on the ground. Suddenly strange-looking white creature flew out of somewhere and came flying in around the lizard, and the lizard began to pack, trying to catch this creature. More flying creatures came from somewhere and the lizard went chasing away from Xia. Xia was focused on what just happened and didn't notice that there was some fox-like creature coming before her and the first flying creature she'd ever seen. It's a human being. Xia heard and turned on 2 creatures and said, "Did you just talk?" "Yes." "How you can speak? You're animal." "Well, in this world some animals can speak humans' language." "Okay," she said, "get up from the ground. Do you want to see places with us?" "And my name is Rue, and that Lola fox named Rue says," and pointed to a creature flying with muzzle. "Nice to meet you. I'm Xia," she replied. The whole evening and night went by in that they were circling places and having fun. Chapter 3, The Door is Gone. Xia woke up in the morning with a butterfly landing on her face. The butterfly flew off her head and Xia sat up. She spent the night in Rue and Lola's nest, which was half in a tree. Rue and Lola, they were going somewhere, so Xia decided to go for a walk somewhere. He first went to one river and walked along it. After walking for a while, she reached a small pond where she was different colored fish swimming. Xia looked at them for a while, then she looked up from the pond straight ahead, where she could see a small distance of river that led to some dark tunnel. Xia thought at first that she could go see what the soul is, but that idea quickly froze when she saw a pair of eyes in the darkness of the tunnel. A pair of eyes watched Xia's every step she took back. Suddenly there was a long whistle from somewhere. The pair of eyes in the tunnel seemed to hear it and quickly took off down the tunnel. Xia stayed in place for a while, staring at the tunnel, until she decided to go back, in case Ru and Lola were back, wherever they were. After Xia walked for a while, he found himself in the place where he originally came to this world. Xia had already forgotten the door and where came to this other world. Xia looked around to see if she could find the door, but to her surprise, the door was nowhere to be seen where it was when she came here. Suddenly Xia heard a familiar voice, so she turned around. He saw Ru and Lola coming towards him. "Xia, what are you doing here?" came from Lola's mouth. "I can no longer find the door through which I came here." "It was here," Xia replies. Ru and Lola looked at each other and then turned to Xia again. "You haven't seen any black creature here that looks a bit like a wolf, have you?" Ru asks Xia. "I don't know about any black creature, but earlier today I saw some dark tunnel with some creature in it. I didn't see anything but slightly reddish eyes." Xia answers, "Guard the door." Lola screams, "So that surely the whole forest can hear." "What?" Xia asks. "Guard the door. Its job is to guard the door you came from. The guard's job would be to make sure no one comes through the door. If someone does, she changes the door's place as soon as she sees it," Ru says and continues. Xia nods. Ru says and continues. "Varsha is a wolf-like, completely black creature with red eyes. So I can't get home here." Xia asks, "You can, but we have to get to the Dream Mountain before midnight tomorrow. The door has gone there and will change places over tomorrow to the guard's cave, and no one can get there. So we should go, because the Dream Mountain is not close," Lola says and Xia nods. Lola, Ru and Xia left for the Dream Mountain so that Xia could get home. Chapter 4